My entitled best friend was furious when I got engaged before her, pouting. "You should have waited until it was my turn first." When I refused to apologize, she tried to sabotage my wedding, smirking. "Let's see how happy you are without my help." Her jaw dropped when the wedding planner announced, "Actually, the bride already knew, and you're no longer invited." Planning a wedding is supposed to be one of the happiest times in a person's life. For me, it became a nightmare, all thanks to someone I once considered my closest friend. Sarah and I had been friends since college. We did everything together: late-night study sessions, weekend trips, and countless hours talking about our future dreams. We always said we'd be each other's maid of honor when the time came. I believed our bond was unbreakable. When Mark proposed to me during a trip to the Grand Canyon, I was over the moon. The first person I wanted to tell was Sarah. I called her as soon as we got back to the hotel. "Sarah, guess what? Mark proposed. We're engaged." There was a pause on the other end. Then she said, "Oh. Wow. Congrats." Her tone was flat, not the excited squeal I had anticipated. "Is everything okay?" I asked. She sighed. I thought we'd get married around the same time. Experience it together." I brushed it off, thinking she was just surprised. As I dove into wedding planning, Sarah offered to help. She insisted on being involved in every decision. At first, I was grateful. Having my best friend by my side made the process feel even more special. But soon, her suggestions became demands. "You should pick a different venue. This one doesn't suit you. Those flowers are too common. Let's find something unique." She even questioned my choice of dress. "Are you sure that's the one? It doesn't flatter you as much as it should." I started to feel like my wedding was becoming hers. One evening, over coffee, Sarah dropped a bombshell. "I've been seeing someone," she said, avoiding my gaze. "That's great. Who is he?" She hesitated. "Remember Jake from work?" Jake was known for his playboy reputation. "Are you sure about him?" I asked cautiously. She shrugged. "We're taking things slow." A week later, she announced their engagement. 2 weeks after that, they eloped in Vegas. I was shocked but supportive. However, her behavior towards my wedding took a turn. Sarah began undermining my plans. She contacted my florist, pretending to be me, and tried to change the order. Thankfully, the florist called to confirm, sensing something was off. She told mutual friends that I was making poor choices and that the wedding would be a disaster. She even tried to convince Mark that I was having second thoughts. I confronted her. "Why are you doing this?" I demanded. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. "I just wanted us to share this experience. But you left me behind." I was speechless. The final straw came when she attempted to cancel my venue booking. The manager called me directly, confused about the sudden change. I realized I couldn't have her in my life anymore. I sent her a message, explaining that her actions had hurt me deeply and that I needed space. She didn't respond. With Sarah out of the picture, planning became smoother. I leaned on other friends and family who truly supported me. The wedding day arrived, and it was everything I had dreamed of. As I walked down the aisle, I felt a mix of emotions: joy, love, and a tinge of sadness for the friendship I had lost. But as I looked into Mark's eyes, I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. A few days after the wedding, I started getting strange messages on social media. Anonymous accounts were sending me screenshots of posts, all clearly written about me. They called me a liar, a gold digger, a fake friend. They said my marriage wouldn't last. Most of it was vague, but some things hit too close to home. Details that only someone very close to me would know. At first, I ignored them. I told myself not to give it attention. But then one of the accounts posted an old photo of me from college. One I had never uploaded anywhere. It was taken during a trip Sarah and I had taken to Charleston. The caption said, "Not everything gold stays glittering. Some people just pretend." That's when I knew. Sarah was behind it. I tried to reach out, thinking maybe we could have a civil conversation and end this quietly. I messaged her. "Please stop. This has gone too far." She replied, just 2 words. "Prove it." I felt sick. It was like I was watching someone I thought I knew tear off a mask. The sweet, supportive best friend I had grown up with was gone. And whoever was left was cruel. Cold. A few days later, Mark called me in the middle of his workday. He was furious. "Why did someone just email my boss saying I'm a fraud with a fake degree?" he snapped. I froze. "What?" "An anonymous email," he said. "They included a fake transcript and everything. I could get investigated for this." I knew instantly this was Sarah. Who else would know where he went to school, what he studied, or the exact year he graduated? That night, we sat down and talked. Mark wasn't mad at me. He was angry that someone would go that far. But he asked me something that stung. "Why didn't you cut her off earlier?" I didn't have an answer. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer. I brought every screenshot, every message, every post that mentioned me or Mark. He looked through everything carefully, took a breath, and said, "This is targeted harassment. We can take legal action." I hesitated. Part of me still hoped she would just stop. That somewhere, deep down, Sarah would feel guilty and back off. But she didn't. Instead, she escalated. She made a fake wedding website, almost identical to ours. Same photos. Same date. Same names. But the text was twisted. It told people to join the circus of love, featuring the biggest liar bride in North Carolina. Friends started calling me. They were confused. "Is this a joke?" I told them the truth. Most believed me. Some didn't say much. One friend, Zoe, called crying. "She told me you cheated on Mark. That you used him for money." I didn't know what to believe. That hurt more than anything else. The wedding planner, Lisa, stepped in again. She was the one who had originally helped clean up the mess Sarah caused before the wedding. This time, she was furious. "She's sick," Lisa said. "But don't worry. I've seen this before." Lisa posted a statement from her professional account. It was direct. It outlined how someone had impersonated her bride, how someone had tried to ruin an event, and how it was being handled legally. She didn't name names. But everyone knew. Then came the twist I didn't expect. One of Sarah's ex-boyfriends, Jake, the guy she rushed to marry, messaged me. He said he wanted to talk. I ignored him at first, but he messaged again. "I think you need to know what she did to me too." We met in public, in a coffee shop. Jake looked tired. Nervous. "She did the same thing to me," he said. "The whole thing, controlling, manipulative. She made me cut off friends, accused me of cheating every time I went to work. She told everyone you two eloped," I said. He laughed bitterly. "We didn't. I never married her. I broke things off. She threatened to ruin me. Said she'd make sure no woman ever trusted me again. So I left the state." I sat there stunned. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folder. "Here. Messages, screenshots, copies of what she sent to my employer, my landlord, even my mom." The texts were almost identical to what she had sent about Mark. Jake leaned forward. "I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I don't think she's finished." He was right. A few days later, someone slashed the tires on Mark's car. No cameras. No witnesses. Just damage. Then, a fake review popped up about my small Etsy business. It said I stole designs, used cheap materials, and refused to ship products. I hadn't had a single complaint in 3 years. Suddenly I had 5 fake reviews in 1 week. Sarah was unraveling, and she wanted to drag me down with her. I kept thinking back to that moment she pouted and said, "You should have waited until it was my turn." That wasn't jealousy. That was warning. But I'm not just sitting back anymore. And what happened next changed everything. I thought I had reached the worst of it, but things went even further. About 2 weeks after the tire incident, I got a letter in the mail that made my hands go numb. It was from a lawyer. A cease and desist. Except this time, it wasn't for Sarah, it was from her. She accused me of defamation. Claimed I was spreading lies about her. Said I had publicly ruined her reputation. And weaponized mutual friends. It was written in formal legal jargon, but I could tell this wasn't about clearing her name. It was about fear. She wanted to scare me into silence. I immediately took it to my own lawyer. He skimmed the letter, then tossed it aside. She's bluffing, he said. She doesn't have a case. But now we file first. That same afternoon, we submitted our own cease and desist. We also started collecting everything: security footage from the tire slashing, screenshots, witness statements from vendors who said Sarah impersonated me, even Jake's documents. But then something happened that made everything even messier. One of our mutual friends, Becca, called me out of the blue. She sounded panicked. "Look, I shouldn't be calling you, but I need to clear my conscience," she said. "I've been helping Sarah." I froze. "What do you mean, helping?" Becca broke down. "She told me you tried to ruin her engagement, that you were spreading rumors about her. I didn't know what to believe. She asked me to message vendors, leave reviews, report your Etsy account. I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw your planner's statement. I sat there, heart pounding. I'm sorry," she whispered. I didn't know she was lying. Becca offered to send me everything: texts, voice notes, emails. She even admitted Sarah paid her a couple $100s to set up the fake accounts that harassed me. My lawyer called it the smoking gun. Meanwhile, Sarah went quiet. Her social media went private. The fake wedding site disappeared. But the silence wasn't peace, it felt like the calm before another storm. Then one morning, Mark's work laptop froze mid-meeting. He restarted it. When it came back on, there was a background image that hadn't been there before, a collage of photos of me and him from our wedding, but all of them had red XS drawn over our faces. It was deeply disturbing. His IT team did a sweep and found spyware hidden in a document someone emailed him weeks earlier. The email came from a random address, but the attachment was labeled Wedding Guest List Final.xlsx. We'd sent that file around during planning. Someone had weaponized it. We took it to the police. That changed everything. Now it wasn't just defamation or online harassment. It was criminal. Then the biggest twist landed like a sledgehammer. Lisa, my wedding planner, texted me out of the blue and said, "We need to talk. It's about the photographer." I called her immediately. She sounded furious. "The photographer called today and said someone reached out offering money for the raw footage of your wedding. Not the edited stuff, just the raw, uncut videos." "Why?" I asked, stomach flipping. "Because whoever it was wanted to edit together a real version of your wedding, claiming Mark looked miserable and that your family was forcing it. The photographer said it sounded like some documentary hit piece. They didn't give the footage, of course. But it shook me," I told Mark. We sat in silence for a while. Then he turned to me and said, "She's obsessed. This isn't just jealousy. It's personal. She wants to rewrite your life." He was right. Then something even more bizarre happened. Jake messaged me again. "Check this out," he said. He had found a Reddit post, deep in a wedding planning forum. The user had posted a rant titled, "My so-called best friend got married before me and now she's rubbing it in my face." It went on for paragraphs: rage, bitterness, and some truly strange claims. She said I tried to steal her man, Jake, that I'd copied her non-existent wedding theme, and that I had always needed to be the center of attention. The post got a lot of sympathy comments, until someone recognized a detail in one of the photos she attached. A mutual friend had seen it before, because I had posted it on my private Instagram. They called her out. The post was deleted within an hour. But it was too late. People had screenshotted it. Someone cross-posted it to a different thread titled, "This woman tried to destroy her ex-best friend's wedding and lost her mind." It went viral. Hundreds of comments. People pieced together the story, guessed names, and shared similar experiences. Turns out, Sarah had left a trail. This wasn't the first time she'd gone off the rails. An old roommate from grad school chimed in. She made up fake break-in stories to keep her boyfriend from going out with friends. Another person from high school. She faked being pregnant to get a guy to stay with her. It was shocking. But it also felt like a weird kind of justice. The truth was finally surfacing. Not just for me, but for everyone she had hurt. Then, just when I thought I could maybe start to feel a little safer, I got a text. No name, no number. It said, "You think this is over? Think again." I stared at the message for a long time. My heart didn't race this time. I didn't panic. I just felt cold. Tired. Angry. It wasn't fear anymore. It was something sharper. I was done hiding, done defending, done hoping Sarah would just stop. I showed the text to the police. They flagged it, but of course, it came from a burner. Untraceable. But that didn't matter now. I had enough. My lawyer filed a formal harassment complaint, and we handed over everything: messages, emails, fake accounts, voice recordings from Becca, the spyware. Even the Reddit post screenshots. All of it. I took a leave of absence from my Etsy shop. I shut down my personal social media. For weeks, I didn't hear a thing. I used that time to build something stronger. Quietly. Carefully. I focused on gathering every single piece of truth. Every paper trail. Every person she burned. And then I dropped the match. We filed a civil lawsuit. Libel. Defamation. Harassment. Invasion of privacy. Emotional distress. And aiding in cyberstalking. Mark had his own legal case too, for the job attack and spyware. Jake signed a witness statement. Becca gave everything. Lisa and the photographer did the same. Even the florist came forward. It wasn't just my word anymore. It was dozens of voices. The moment Sarah was served, she exploded online. Her account, which had been quiet, suddenly lit up. She ranted about being attacked by jealous women, and how people were out to destroy her life. She claimed she was the real victim. Said I had manipulated everyone. But no one was buying it anymore. Then came the hearing. It wasn't criminal court, yet, but it was real. Public. And brutal. Her face when our lawyer dropped the spyware evidence. When Jake walked into the room. When Becca took the stand and read texts Sarah had sent, word for word, about how to ruin a wedding without leaving fingerprints. Her jaw actually dropped. She looked around like the walls were closing in. Mark and I sat there silent. We didn't need to speak. The evidence did everything. When the judge issued the restraining order and allowed the full suit to move forward, Sarah screamed in the hallway. Literally screamed. She said we were all fake. That we'd all regret it. That she hoped our marriage failed. She tried to shove Jake. The bailiff stopped her. They walked her out. She lost her job a week later. Her name had spread through every forum she once used to smear me. She tried to apply to a new workplace but forgot one important thing: the internet doesn't forget. Her posts were archived. Her messages, her behavior, it followed her. We didn't win millions. That's not how these cases go. But we won enough. Enough to cover what she cost us. Enough to hurt. Enough to send a message. But I won something bigger: peace. I opened my shop again. Mark went back to work. We got a dog, moved to a quieter town. We kept things small, but real. No more big social media presence. No more "look at our perfect life" posts. Just real life. Ours. But I won't lie. I made mistakes too. I should have seen the signs. I should have cut ties earlier. I let guilt and history blind me. I gave too many chances. And I let someone into the deepest parts of my life without ever stopping to ask if they belonged there anymore. The thing about people like Sarah is, they don't stop unless you stop them. She tried to poison my marriage, my friendships, my name. She wanted to ruin everything beautiful simply because she couldn't have it first. But in the end, all she ruined was herself. Sometimes revenge doesn't have to be cruel. Sometimes it's just telling the truth out loud. And sometimes, the most brutal thing you can do to someone who tried to destroy your happiness is let them watch you keep it.